Okay, folks. Hello. Welcome. It is August 3rd. It's 4 o'clock. And boy, is it getting interesting, isn't it? It's really, really getting interesting. So let's get this thing rocking and rolling, get this thing all set up here. All right. We're rocking and rolling. So let's get to work here. Folks, I made a mistake. I don't know if it's a mistake or not, but remember I was doing the projection from the all-time low, and not from where, and that was 347, I think, 347.77. It actually started on January 3rd, 1966, and the price was 50. So I did the projection from there, folks. Sorry about that. And I post these on Barts Charts, just so you know. Anyway, from 50, we take our projection. Let's go, boys. Hey, everybody. And you guys, it exactly hit the 1.618 price projection. No kidding. Yeah. I was like, okay. But still, remember, we had this one-by-one trend line. And hey, Toffer, real quick, can you guys hear me okay? I'm not getting a good feel on it. Hit me. Somebody hit me back if you guys can hear me okay. Cool. Okay, awesome. Thanks, Jeremy. Awesome. So this is potentially a pretty big top, folks. I am going to want to buy it, but I think we need to be flat probably for the rest of the year if you're a bull. Let's just see how it goes. Remember when we did the XLP NYA, we were talking about we're coming in a time zone. It pretty much hit, and we'll show you this too. But man, guys, it hit it exact. And so let's just ask ourselves again. I'm just finding the patterns. It still surprises me. I think I've told you guys that. But what's going on? 1.618 price projection from the all-time low hits it to the cent, and everybody stops buying and starts selling. I don't know. Awesome. Thanks, you guys. Boom. All right. So I think it's time to be defensive. And I said that last week. Remember, I said, hey, folks, I think we're going down. Well, this is why. So this is a pretty cool one. So 2.71828 is the Euler number. It's called a natural logarithm. It shows up everywhere when we want something to keep growing and never stops, right? So it just keeps going. What's that look like? Well, maybe the Dow. So I just wanted to show you guys. From 28.48, which remember was the all-time low in 1896, I projected from there to this point right here, and then I came down and then I projected. And so far, the all-time high has been the Euler number. Isn't that wild? There it is, 2.71828 was the price projection. Again, Fibonacci's great, but Fibonacci's a subset of all these other numbers that are playing around and bouncing around in the market. I really wanted it to go up and tag one of these one-by-one trend lines. Remember, we had this one too from the New York Stock Exchange Index. We have this one from the Dow, basically about 47,000 days ago. So I'd really like it to go up there and tap it, but it sure doesn't look like it wants to, does it? So this is still a target. I think we're in the zone of we need to be cautious. Is this a double top here in the Dow? Certainly could be. I personally want it to go up and touch that line. I want to see what happens. I want to see if it rejects it, quite frankly. And then just a little bit higher, you can see we have these price projections, okay? Those price projections might get hit in 3 or 4 months. They don't have to go up there, folks. They will ultimately, I think. But for now, we're stuck here at the natural logarithm projection, okay? You guys, how about this one? I mean, yeah, I know you guys were probably watching it with me. I hope you were. But I'm like, okay, there it goes. Look, it gapped down. I'm down here at the bottom right. It gapped down. And I'm thinking, oh, it's going to break the support. Nope. Wham. Bounced off it. I mean, really? But okay. And these two candles are the reason that we've had this sell-off. We found support again. And guess what? 1, 2? I mean, it didn't break any rules. And now we're in a third wave higher, which means what? Which means when the ratio goes up, stocks go down. I think we should be defensive. But yeah, guys, it didn't break through it. I remember I was like, I will get long with a daily or weekly close. That's the key. We're going to show that on Nvidia later. Close below this level. It never did. And wow, off it went, and we've been selling off. Keep an eye on this ratio, folks. It really helps. Okay. This was interesting too. This was the XLK, technology versus staples. And I don't like it being this wide, but this was our target zone. And we came on, bam, right into it, right? And we've started selling off. So when the staples start becoming stronger, in this case, the denominator gets stronger, the ratio will go down. People will start doing what? They'll start rolling out of technology, okay? Yeah, see this? I did this last move high, boom, this blue, last move into the high. So there's still a little bit higher targets, but right now it's like, okay, do you really want to be messing with this market? Take some profit, tighten up your stops, or just get ready to really take a party. Banking index. I was bummed because I really wanted to go up. Okay, this is, gosh, guys, this goes back to 1990. So 35 years. Every move on the banking index has been this, what? Blue measured move. Can you go up? It's $1.39 right now. Can you go up another $10 or so? That would be awesome, because then we know where we are. But look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe that's it. I would really like it to go a little higher and really try to target this level. Doesn't have to, but everything's looking like we've started, a pretty nice little corrective move. I really wish that level would get hit. And then we remember the banks, we were talking about the yen and the XLF. Well, look at this. I mean, this thing has exploded. So this is the dollar yen versus financials. We've gone over this a lot. Anytime the financials start to get weaker against the dollar yen, so the ratio goes what? Up. This was the whole last up move, folks, right? The ratio was going down. What does that mean? The banks were getting stronger. The banks were stronger. So we're just doing a projection here a little bit higher. This will be a big deal. If this pattern fails, i.e., the yen continues to get stronger against the banks, I think it's a pretty good bet that we're at a pretty good top for now. The top forever? Right? Well, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying a top, and we should expect a double-digit correction at a minimum. Okay? Boom. Remember this one from last week? Here's our dollar yen. When the yen gets stronger, the equities get weaker for now. And remember, we showed this pattern here. It hit it exactly, folks. And look at that candle. The big thing is this huge green support zone on the dollar yen. Extremely important. We should test it with this pattern here. We should test it, okay? So dollar yen, dollar is getting weaker against the yen. That's not good for the financials, which we saw. Financials lead us up, lead us down. Got to keep an eye on the currency markets. This was a perfect pattern, folks, and it's reacted nicely so far. So what I thought I'd do is, if you guys have any questions, let me know. Is I've been posting on Stock Market TV, and I thought I'd go and just take a look at how some of the posts have been going. I've been posting there since about March. And so the next slides are just kind of like, okay, here's what I said. Here's what happened. It's actually pretty good. Some of them, like the Nvidia, was a little bit of another, but other than that, they've been pretty spot on. So what we're looking at here with Uber, again, remember Uber, this is not a arithmetic chart. This is log scale. How can you tell? Over here on the right, okay? See how they're not linear? This is percentage moves. And so this was a projection of a percentage move. Went a little higher. I think I was looking for about 95, but basically it smacked right into this projection. The 1.781 is actually a musical note, folks. When you do these extensions and you look for that 1.618 extension, 1.732, square root of 3, 1.68179, which is a musical note, 1.78912, which is another musical note, those will also work. As you can see, they worked here. So for now, this is a pretty big top for Uber. I know it says 86, but you might want to start looking to buy Uber down here about 60. I know that seems like a big move, but remember, folks, we're working on a monthly chart here. Okay, cool. IBB. I'm actually, for my day job, I work in the biotech industry. It's really ugly right now. And so when I come and do these charts, I'm more of a long-term guy, right? Like I've been long TBT for 2 years, right? I'm looking for a long term. So I work on monthlies and weeklies. What's interesting is, remember, again, this is an arithmetic chart. You can tell the price here, okay? It's all the same. They're all spaced the same. But this was a beautiful sell. And what I had said was, hey, we're going down a little bit lower. We found support. We bounced, but we're not above these highs. So it's still working. And look at this right here, folks. So this is about maybe 2016, 2015. So, a good 10 years ago. Boy, that's it. There has not been a close below that. We do close below that. I think the biotech industry is going to get thumped. Right now, in a little bit of no man's land, but ultimately looking at this and then looking at this three-wave pattern, I would say $80 is realistic. Yeah. Are we going to keep this support zone the whole time? We might. We certainly could. And why am I saying that? Well, look, here was a 40% correction. Here was a 40% correction. Here was a 40% correction. IBB likes 40% corrections, period. So the fact that we found support here kind of makes sense, right? Why? Well, there's your 40% correction right here. Okay. But until we take this out right here, I'm still of the mindset that this is going to give away. So that's where I'm at. But we've got about $17 to play with. This is about $1.50 here. Okay. But so far, this one's still working too. We've talked about the Utes. Remember, I know a bunch of you guys have asked about the Utes. And so what I did was I really kind of, I got down with a magnifying glass on this one. You can tell here, again, we're log scale. Look over here to the right. And I'm basically doing a projection. Believe it or not, the all-time low in the Dow Jones Utility Average was in 1942, price of 57.76. So that's what I'm projecting off. That takes us up almost another 900 points, folks, to about 1,200. Now we have what? We have this long-term log trend line channel. So that looks like some pretty stiff resistance higher. And remember, drive 1, drive 2, drive 3, looks like we're trying to do it 3 drives to a top on the utilities. So it certainly looks like we have a little bit more to go, but not that much. And ultimately, with this 3 drives to a top and this logarithmic projection, I'm thinking we're going to hit some stiff resistance here. Okay. So that's our use. And I know people have been asking about that. I got a little bit deeper. I went down, or excuse me, time frame. I went down to a lower time frame. I went to a weekly here, and here we have our projection. And remember, this is arithmetic. We're not log anymore. And I just drew a little bit of a trend channel. Here was the log projection up here, this blue line. So you can see we don't have much to go on the utilities. And here's your drive 1, here's your drive 2, and there will be your drive 3. And then if we look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, we don't go below 1. And now it looks like we're finishing up a 5th wave. So anywhere, let's say 1160 to 1240 on the utilities, I think we're going to have major resistance, folks. So keep an eye on that one. All right. IBM, we've been talking about this one. This was a beautiful one. I also talked about how it really bummed me out when you had an ABCD or basically a unity projection, AB equals CD, and a 1.618 extension from here, and it went a little higher. Well, it went to the 12th root of 2, which is 1.05946, and the square root of 3, which is 1.732, and fell out of the sky. So I think this is a pretty big top on IBM, folks. Any rally, I'd look to short. Yeah. Guys, we're being awful silent. What do you got? Gold futures, again, you guys, I'm just patterns, right? I'm not trying to be bullish. I'm not trying to be bearish. And that's why the other day I was like, and we had a candle here. I'm like, hey, here's the projection. Maybe gold should be a short. I don't know. Certainly doesn't look like it. This certainly looks like what? A fourth wave, a triangle. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fourth wave, third wave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My target on gold, you guys, is about 4,100. Okay. So that's a good 800 points more. And what am I doing here? Gold was floated back in the early 1900s. I think it was like 1880 to 1910 at 20 bucks. So I'm projecting off of $20. That takes me to my 1.618 price projection, and that's about 41.23. Okay, so keep an eye on this gold futures. Boeing. Remember, we've been watching this one since down here, folks. Pretty trippy. And the whole thesis has been this is one big it's almost a year consolidation. Guess what? We had this window, gap, it was open, jumped up, smacked into the window, smacked the 786, and finally got the candle we were looking for. And what do I mean by that? Well, take a look at this price action. There hasn't been any confirmed, if you will, or consistent selling until what? About 3 days ago. And look at that candle. Bam. So I'm going to call this the last point on the triangle. Remember, A, B, C, D, E. A, B, C, D, E. I did it wrong. A, B, C, D, E. That's where we are. Down we go. Okay. So I'm calling this point E of a large triangle. Boeing to make new lows. This whole thing is wrong if we get above daily close. Let's go with the daily close above this window level. But Boeing, we've finished the last leg. It's time to start down, and hopefully you are. Okay. EFA, orange. Let's follow the bouncing ball, folks. A, B, B, C, C, D, projection. Blue, A, B, C, D. Green, A, B, C, D. At 3 price projections coming in here. And then what do? We extend. We could extend here, but remember I talked about this before. This is a 0.9438 retracement, and that is 1.05946, 1 over it. So this is more than likely a 1.05946 extension. We have some extensions here, you can see. So this whole red zone was a big resistance area. And guess what? Went in, smacked it, finally got a sell signal, and that's what we have. Now, remember also, folks, look at these red lines. Every single move in this last wave up has been these red lines. Pretty wild. Copy, paste, red line. Copy, paste from this level, red line. Copy, paste, red line. Copy, paste, red line. It's all harmonic. So when we saw this move coming after this, which looks like a flat correction, A, B, C, D, or excuse me, A, B, C, right here. Then we just project from that level, and look, it went right up to it. So pay attention to the measured moves, folks. But EFA, I'm calling that a top right now. Now, we could fall off, rally back up. Anything above $94 on a daily close, this pattern's failed. But for now, man, we've got a ton of resistance for EFA. EWG, Germany. Germany's in actually a world of hurt, folks. Their debt's exploding. Not to mention it's insane with the war talk going on. Look at this again. Projection. This projection was a 127 projection, but still 3 projections. Here's our area that we're going into. Bam, hit it. We're falling down. Germany could be a top. Quite frankly, Germany could be going into a depression. Yeah, I said it on August 3rd, 2025. EWJ, really important, folks. Really important. What has guided EWJ the entire time? This measured move. This measured move. Look at this, folks. Isn't that crazy? This measured move and this measured move, and boom. Wow. But again, price projections. Here's the extensions. You can see I'm doing the extensions here if you want to go back and and study this. There's a 127 extension here, 127 extension here. This is a 1.44 square root of 2. The bottom line is we have almost 10 different mathematical ratios coming into this 76 to 78, 80 level. This is massive resistance on EWJ, folks. So we get through 80 on a daily close, man, this thing's cooking off. I just don't see it happening yet, okay? I do. We're going to go over Bitcoin here in a second. Thank you. Thanks for the comments. The question was, great charts. Do you have one in here for Bitcoin? I do. Probably not going to be very popular. But by the way, guys, I got some waves today. I am exhausted right now. I don't know if you can tell. We finally had a little bit of a swell show up. It's a little bit warmer. The rain layer had burned off, so I was out in the blazing sun. It still was incredible. So I surfed for about an hour and a half. Man, we've had the south swell in San Diego. It just doesn't hit. So there hasn't been any waves. So I really haven't been out in like 4 to 5 weeks consistently. I'm out of shape, man. Man, I kicked my butt today. But check this out. I surfed a wave literally with 3 dolphins next to me. Yeah, it was totally cool. Really cool. So I'm sorry if I'm a little tired. It's just, I worked out today. It was good. So anyway, EWJ, folks, I'm calling that a top. Get long with a daily close above 80, all right? So this was one I did. I forget. I should have put the dates, but Jeff Mackey, I don't know if you guys are watching his stuff. He's really good. He really has the stuff down. But he was talking about Walmart, Target. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go take a look at it. And it's pretty wild because the patterns work. Okay, just showing you a price projection. These blue triangles are actually called a butterfly. And it was right on retracement levels. It's pretty wild, right? But here's our projection. And so I called this the great rotation. I'm like, I'd love to see this ratio get up here and reject Walmart. And all of a sudden, Target gets stronger than Walmart. Again, it's just a pattern, folks. But isn't that wild? So when we take a look at it, I didn't put the chart in, but go to Bart's Charts and look up Walmart and Target. You'll see some very well-defined buy patterns on Target and sell patterns on Walmart, and they're about the same distance apart. Go figure. Walmart's obviously, look, excuse me, this is straight up. I mean, Walmart is outperforming Target. Duh, makes total sense. What's going to happen here? Isn't that crazy? So let's take a look. And the reason I bring that up is kind of like copper. We're going to go over the copper chart. Folks, look. Did I know Trump was going to slap tariffs on copper? Absolutely not. In fact, I was blogging about copper resistance back July 3rd. We're going to go over this chart, right? I didn't know, but it went up to that zone and it sold off. And I was like, all right, let's don't get too crazy on this breakout of copper. Here's one with Walmart and Target. The thing about pattern recognition, and I'll be honest with you, it is hard because you find yourself being ultimately kind of just a contrarian. Everybody thinks Walmart is going to keep outperforming Target, and it probably will. But this pattern here is telling us that we might hit some massive resistance. And then Walmart no longer outperforms Target. Oh, like what was happening here? I mean, really, it was unchanged. Do you see what I'm saying? So when you get to these patterns, everybody was talking about the breakout in copper, and I'm like, I see it, but we just slammed into a massive level, so I can't get all on board. It's kind of like the XLP NYA. I was just letting the patterns guide me. We've gone through this. Toffer, I know you've been with me. We've been going through this for a couple of months, right? And that pattern, we know why it found support. So we knew why, if it broke it, it would be important and we could get long equities. It never broke it. And now we're down, what, 3-4% in 2 days? Right with the timing. So here's Walmart, Target. I don't know what the fundamentals are, but a little higher, and maybe there's this great rotation. We'll see. Sorry, you guys, I got kind of planted on this one, but it's just kind of fun. Home builders, hello. This is a perfect sell. Now, is this the high? Don't know. But If we get rallying, this is a nice candle, especially in the midst of the big sell-off we had, right? This sets up for a perfect 3 drives to a top, folks. Into the ABCD, into the 1.618, into the 0.618 price rejection, folks. Massive resistance on the home builders, and let's just say 108 to 110. Short the home builders, and then I can't tell you where to put your stop because I don't know what your risk is. Some of you guys might put your stop at 126, right? Some might put the stop at 111. I don't know. I'm just telling you that this could be the top here. What I'd really like to see is for it to move up into the 108, 110 area, and then it's a short. If we get above this area here, you can count on probably 117, but ultimately above about 113, this pattern's failed. Get out. Don't. Folks, I've held on to so many positions way too long. No, it's got to work. Trust me, I've made all the mistakes. Cut it. It didn't work. It's just a pattern. Okay. But yeah, I'm seeing a sell on the home builders. Palladium. Folks, this one could be a barn burner. I'm not long yet. I'm going to be getting long. I want to see a firm what? Close above this level. Remember when I told you guys that? I really am the most conservative dude you'll see. I'm on these things every day. I might put a position on 5 to 7 times a year. Yeah. I just want to walk over and get the money. Why? Because I lost it all like 20 years ago, thinking I knew what I was doing. Now I know I don't know what I'm doing, and I look for great setups. So here's a beautiful one, but we have not had a weekly close above or daily. So if we go down a little bit, that's fine. But I like this count. And here's our A, B, C. It's beautiful. 1, 2. I mean, folks, it doesn't get any better. 3. This is a flat correction. 4. A, B, C. 5. 1. A, B, C. 2. So down here at 110, I'm calling for 330. Yeah, I know. Sounds crazy. I will tell you, if we ever get below 77, I'm completely wrong. But this palladium, it looks like it's about to be a ripper. You're welcome, Marley. Thanks for telling me that. She said, thanks for all you do. I'm like, this is great. Thank you. I love this, you guys. I really do. I got some surfing today. By the way, and I could put it out there for you. So when Hawaii gets like the northwest, a little bit of south, we get it like 5 or 6 days later. That's Wednesday. So I'm getting really excited. I'll change my schedule and I'll put meetings so I can go surf in the morning. It's so much fun, you guys. Palladium, get long palladium. Oh, and again, these were all on the Stock Market TV blogs. So I'm just going back through what I've posted. Like, all right, this one still looks good. MGI, we talked about this. Folks, again, this is log over here. But, I mean, excuse me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Could be the beginning of a new bull market, and higher we go. See what I did there? Yeah, actually, Marley, Nvidia is coming up. Thank you for asking. Disney. Folks, this one could be getting really ugly. Take a look at this green support zone. You guys, I'm trying to, if I'm confusing you, email me and let me know. I'm trying to make this esoteric craziness that I do really simple. When I put a green, that's support. When I put a red, that's resistance. When I put a blue, pay attention. I mean, I don't know what I can do. But this right here is a classic A, 3-wave B, C. This is what we call a flat correction. So not a lot of risk here. If, in fact, this is a flat correction, then price should not go back up above this high. And Disney should ultimately what? Crap through this big support zone. These are the things I like to look for, folks. See that wick? See that? They're still defending this area. See how wicks? That's where it's like, okay, this is a big deal. See this wick here? So these are institutions. This is a monthly chart, right? So, but this right here, if I'm correct, here's your A, 3-wave B, and here's your C. Now, if I'm wrong, it'll go to an expanded flat. We'll go up to about here. Then we'll go down. But ultimately, right now, let's call this one a qual. You want to be short Disney. You want to be stopping yourself out, above about a 124, 125. And ultimately, we should break through there. We should break through here. Disney. Crazy. Nice. All right, Marla. Keep it up. All right, you guys. This one, I'll just be honest with you. I think I posted this a couple of weeks ago. We've talked about it. And everybody was talking about this massive breakout in copper. And it was. All right. And I kind of was like, well, July 3rd, a month ago, I'm like, well, I'm not bullish until it gets above this huge resistance line, right? So it went up, it hit it once, and it rejected. And then you can tell it was kind of coiling. It was going to try it again. And I'm like, wow, I wonder if this pattern's going to fail. Again, I don't know which ones are, which ones aren't. And I don't know. I think I had a lot of meetings from a biotech. I do business development. So I came back later in the day, and I looked, and copper was down 17%. I'm like, all right, this is a bad print. And I actually went on the stock market TV, the research channel with all the analysts, all the guys and gals, and I was like, hey, does anyone else have a bad print like I do? And then I went and looked, and I'm like, holy smokes. It literally hit it. So, folks, is it the pattern or is it the news? I've told you once, I'm going to tell you again. The cycle happens before the news. So when you see me like, oh, I don't know, right? I'm usually 3, 4, maybe even 5 weeks ahead of the general market because of these patterns. It's not because I'm anything special. I'm not. I just know how to find the patterns, folks. And so this copper pattern, look at it. It was perfect. A perfect price projection from 2002, 23 years ago. And it got rejected. But it got rejected July 3rd. Then Trump came out and did slap some tariff on it. So, wow. You don't know which patterns are going to work. You don't know which ones are going to fail. But I could tell you, man, don't leave home without them. They help you manage risk. Look at that chart. Is that crazy? Now, what I'm trying to deal with, and maybe you guys can help me out because I'm not a fundamentalist. I was a math major at Navy, right? I think I told you, don't be impressed. 2.08 in my math major. No kidding. I'm like John McCain, Anchorman. But look at this math. It's just like, okay, what's going on here, right? It tried to break out. Look at the wicks. Tried. Did. Rejected. What's going on with the mind of the masses when a pattern is complete? Actually, I've been doing some work with my buddy Ponch in the OODA loop and the quantum field. We kind of have an idea, but we're not ready to roll it out yet because, quite frankly, we're all just making it up. But anyway, is the S&P going to follow copper? Right? Does that fundamental relationship still hold? I don't know. You guys help me. Tell me. Usually, copper weakness is what? Well, copper weakness is equal to equity weakness. Copper is like a leading indicator of the economy. Is it still, if they slap the tariff on it, and it's not really the normal supply and demand? I don't know. I got a pattern. It was a sell pattern. It worked. I don't know how to short copper futures, but holy smokes, that was a beautiful one. Now, here's 2007, folks. Now, here was your A move. And if you guys want to go to my Barts Charts, search for the copper script. And what I mean by that is, here's our first move down. Here's our 3-wave move up to a new high. This is an expanded flat correction, kind of like we were talking about with Disney. So in this case, this is a C wave. This move right here, this A wave, is approximately 1.618 times that. So the C wave is usually 1.618 the A wave. Guess what? It was perfectly. And this was a 786 retracement. So down here, remember with Marley, remember with palladium, when I made this call to buy copper, I said copper is going to make new highs. It's crazy. Look at this. I mean, think about the emotions. I mean, copper's getting smoked. That's a C wave. And oh, by the way, folks, that's what I think we're setting up for in the equity markets is a big, huge, smashing C wave, which needs to be what? Bought. Right? I'm not talking about a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2 wave move up, 2, right? No, I'm talking about, I think this whole rally that we've had since the sell-off is a B wave. And now we're getting rolling over to have a really probably ugly C wave, but we're going to want to buy it. And I'm going to be buying it. Hopefully you'll be following along with me. And what are we going to do? We're going to use monthly measured moves to figure out where to buy it. It ain't rocket science. But anyway, take a look here, folks. This was beautiful. So if you look, and this was a 3, and we're going 4, did this complete a 5th wave in copper? And we've topped big time. Don't know, but this is a bearish candle. No, by the way, about a month prior, we were saying don't get bullish on copper. I don't know which ones are going to work, folks. You know that. You guys love me. I'm just having fun. European banks, the enigma that is European banks. This is actually log scale, believe it or not, if you can see here. And I really want to capture this trend line. It still hasn't broken up above it. Here's our 1.618 price projection. So we're banging in. So you start thinking of Europe, you start thinking of the pound, you start thinking of Britain, France, Germany, you start thinking of Russia and this war. Nothing's going to go down until these banks crack, folks. So are they getting ready to crack or not? Put EUFN on your radar. The big thing is, look at this right here. This is some pretty, horizontal, of course. So, 28, 27 bucks, it's only $4 away. That's going to be the big, huge line in the sand. Now, why did I put this highlighted blue? Because what I wanted to show you was, here's a price projection. And remember what I told you. Remember where these levels are, even though they might get defeated. Because ultimately what? Price will come back and tag them. And that's exactly what happened. Massive sell-off, boom, hit the old price projection, and then took off. Folks, take that one to the bank. I'm not very good at trading failed patterns. There's people I know, that's all they do is trade failed patterns. Remember where the 0.618, the equality 1.0, and the 1.618 price projections are, okay? Capital One, bam, talked about this one, and the reason I'm putting this one up is why? Excuse me, is banks. See, again, folks, it's not me, it's the math, okay? This is all math. I don't know what, actually my first job offer out of the Navy was with Capital One. They wanted me to go to strategic infrastructure. There was 10 people who reported directly to the CEO. I'm like, I'm way out of my element here. I just know how to fly fighters. And I was about to take the job, but he came in and he said, you're coming at job level 18 and I forget, management level 22. I'm like, oh my God, that's why I'm leaving the Navy. I'm like, I'm out. Really bad business decision there, I think. But anyway, check that out. It was all just the math. And this gap up into this major resistance area was earnings. And then it sold off. But guess what, folks? It found support on the 1.618 price projection. That was the original sell-off right here, right there. This right here was the projection. Came up and it found support, just like I told you. Don't forget where these levels are. That's why I wanted to show you that, okay? I went down to a daily just to show you. That was where the old 1.618 price projection was. Here's how it worked. Here's what it first did it, right? Got the sell-off. Then on earnings, gapped up, bam, boom, down we go. Isn't that crazy? But we found support on the 1.618 price projection. Nuts. I admit it. It's crazy, folks. All right, here we go with Nvidia. Let's see. Okay. What I was seeing on Nvidia was a 3 drives to a top, and I think it was 2 weeks ago, maybe. Joey, does the math show where the SPY is heading? It does. We can go over that real quick if we have some time. Hit me up, okay? You guys know I'm looking over here because I have the chat over here and I have my main screen here. But with Nvidia, it was short with a daily close. You bet. Hi, Bart. In the future, will you please do an Elliott wave count for the historical chart of the Dow? Interested to hear if it's a grand super cycle fifth. Thanks so much. You're welcome. And I'll address that here in a second. I think it's a grand super cycle 3, actually. Yeah. Like I said, folks, this could be a really big top. I'm not calling it that yet, simply because, quite frankly, I think we're going to war, and the only game in town is the Dow. And so we really got to watch the flow of funds. We got to watch the dollar, the SWIFT, the BRICS. There's a lot going on. But if and when we do make this air quote mythical top, I think it's 3. And if that's the case, it likes to do what? It likes to go down to the fourth wave of a lesser degree, which is the 2009 low. So I'm just saying it. That could be this top. Don't know. We're just going to have to wait for what? A failed buy pattern. Okay? There's going to be a buy, and it's going to fail, and then it's going to be like, okay, we really need to take some protection. That hasn't happened yet. So that's where I am. So I just thought I'd do it. Joey, let's go, dude. Joey just said he's in San Diego. You know, Joey, they talk about the VWAP a ton. I really want to learn it. I've never even looked at it. So I'd like to look at it for confirmation. But I just haven't had a chance to get anybody on Stock Market TV to show me. But Joey, man, get out of the waves. We got a big swell coming, dude. And let's meet. Hit me on email, okay? But anyway, the call here for Nvidia was short it with a daily close below this gap. We never had a daily close. So the signal wasn't triggered. And what I was seeing was a 3 drives to a top. And this is our log scale. And this was drive 1, drive 2, drive 3. So what I did was I'm like, okay, last week I did some log. So what I'm trying to do is the first wave equal to the last wave. That's what I'm doing here. And so I actually went and got pretty nuts ass, made sure it was 3 cents, made sure it was the top, made sure it was right here. And that actually gives a target on Nvidia for 202. And that's pretty precise. Okay. So another $50. But either way, this was the pattern. Drive 1, drive 2, drive 3. This is some pretty strong candles here, folks. Right? And I know it sounds nuts thinking that, we're going to short Nvidia, but I'm just looking at patterns, folks. So hopefully that helps you guys with Nvidia. I think we're topping. I do think we should buy it ultimately, but I think the whole market's getting ready to roll over and go down. So I would imagine Nvidia will probably be the same. But if I look at this initial measured move up, log scale, folks, right? Percentage. And I look at this as a copy paste, and I made sure I nailed it. That gives me 202. Still, that's a nice run. But yeah, I was looking at this being a 3 drives to a top for a sale for Nvidia. The level that I was at got smoked by about $1 or $2, not a lot. But that's when I was like, I wonder if this thing's even ready to go down. Okay. There you go, brother. And by the way, the Sea Fox, that's really cool. You got to tell me how you got that. He's short Nvidia. Like I said, I think that's not a bad play, brother. Really. We look at it here. We got a 1, we got a 2, right? And we got a 1. And then this whole thing's a triangle. See this? A, B, C, D, E. I call that wave 2 triangle. Then we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. So I think it's a 3, actually. I think the top's going to be a 3. Probably come down here a little bit. I know these sounds crazy. These numbers are crazy. but we're going to want to buy it. Okay. Marley, I don't know it yet. Again, what I'll say initially is it likes to go down to the fourth wave of a lesser degree. That's a guideline. It's not a rule. That's here at about 100. But what we'll do is we want to see it fall, or we want to see it roll over, and then I can project. Okay. And then I can use these measured moves. And then I can get a feel for, okay, this is where the low is going. I just think it's too frothy and too crazy to buy right now. Now, tell you what, we got some time. Almost done here. I'm going to show you guys something. I really am going to want you guys to take a look at this. Okay, hold on. ERSS, yes. Okay, there we go. I'll get to that soon. All right, we're back. So then I went down to a weekly arithmetic, and boom, boom, boom. Remember, this was the level, 202, right? Check that out. And we got this nice projection. It takes us where? Right to the level. Now, this is a pretty weekly, this is a kind of a bearish weekly candle. Had one here, I got it right here. But what would I like to see it do? I'd like to see it it's kind of walk up this wall of worry a little bit more and then roll over and be done. This is not a bullish candle, folks, so that could be the high. But in and around here, I'm expecting some pretty good resistance. And then, like I said, where could we go? This fourth wave to a lesser degree, down 90 to 100 bucks. I know that's $70, but stuff can go quick, right? So hopefully that sounds good. You got it, Marley, no problem. UNH, I forgot, honestly. I don't think it's good. I forgot what it was, you guys. Thank you. All right. So JC was actually asking me about nat gas. I'm already long UNG. I don't know, folks. I don't know if I'd recommend it because of contagion. And you know, natural gas could be going straight up, but because of contagion, and then UNG has to roll every month, it might not go as much. There could be other better vehicles. Boyle, for one. I think there's a mutual fund. But here's what I'm seeing on natural gas. And quite frankly, I forget who it was, but one of the guys who works over at Elliott Wave sent this over to me, and I was like, wow, this looks pretty good. I was off a little bit on where he was counting. It was mostly in and around here, but we both basically had the same idea. And that was, this is a pretty big low. And I think we're starting a multi-month move higher in natural gas. So it could be here as the low and off we go. Or, you know, really, I'd like to see this just because it'd be a perfect little buy pattern. And then boom, off we go. This is like palladium, folks. This could be a nice run. And I would look to take natural gas up above 10. Yeah, no kidding. And then we've got some pretty well-defined areas here, folks, down here at the lows. Right down in here. And these are pretty much all-time lows here. So we get anywhere below 2.0, cut it. This is just wrong. But man, I'm telling you, I kind of like this natural gas play. UNG, Boyle. And I've been long UNG in and around here. I've been kind of getting banged around. But it's really bummed me out with this whole contagion thing. So keep that in mind. All right. Actually, Wavy, we talked about the utilities. I'm going to post these. So take a look. Did you miss it? Hit me back. Wavy's great, by the way. He always emails me. I love it. I think it's probably around slide 10. You'll take a look at it. I think we have a little bit higher, but we're really setting up for 3 drives to a top on utilities. Again, that pattern fails, they go parabolically higher, but I think we're kind of getting close to being done. And if you remember, like a couple months ago, we were talking about that setup of that 3 drive. So take a look at the charts, all right, Wave? So this next thing, folks, you know, you might be wondering, why is Bart doing this? I don't know. No. First off, I love the charts. It's been a hell of a journey. It's been 24 years that I've studied these things. And in studying them, I've studied the Kabbalah. Yeah. I literally took a red pill, gematria, the Hermetica, quadrivium, musical theory, astrology, numerology, um, basically all of the classical arts. And Yeshua says even the very hairs on your head are numbered. Okay, no worries, Wavy. Check it out. All right, let me know. And so what I'm going to show you next I think it'll defy what you might think is normal. So I've actually had 2 weeks ago, I had dinner with Alan Green, and Alan's uncovered some amazing things within, if you're an American, within the Constitution, Bill of Rights, and the Declaration of Independence. They're called the America Codes. I recommend everybody watch them. Some of you will, some of you won't. But he recently came out with one, and he sent it to me, and it really blew my mind. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to show the peeps on Sunday night because it's really mind-boggling. It's a set of 22 videos. It costs $111. That's actually encoded for 111, 3 in 1, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. John 1:11, the logos. Anyway, but our Declaration of Independence, Constitution, and Bill of Rights, and actually, believe it or not, the Gettysburg Address, are all encrypted. And they're encrypted with knowledge that goes back pre-Diluvian, back to the Sumerians, tens of thousands of years. It's amazing, folks. In fact, you can literally see, so when Lincoln was writing the Gettysburg Address, the first half was actually printed like as well as they can. And then the second part, he hadn't finished, he was actually handwriting. And so Alan Green, I'm on a podcast, if you want to see it, it's called No Way Out podcast with Alan Green, my buddy Ponch and John from Chips. It was a show in the 80s. Anyway, you can see where he erases and rewrites the word. If he hadn't done that, it would have broken the entire code. And so the Gettysburg Address has Ford's Theater in it. No kidding, folks. Lincoln assassination, 13th Amendment, slavery is wrong. And what's amazing is it literally shows, he shows the original Declaration of Independence, and like 70% of it was edited out because it was all about being wrong with slavery, because he knew that the South, they probably wouldn't go along with it. So they redacted all this stuff. Where am I going with this? Alan Green sent me this. I know this doesn't make sense to you right now, but when you take the Constitution, when you take any of these great works, what you do is you lay them out in a grid. The grid actually comes from Shakespeare. It's called the Enochian Table, the Book of Enoch. It's 624 characters. By the way, Shakespeare was born June 24th. Yeah. Okay, I'll leave it at that. And so you basically lay out every single word, everything, and you lay it out in this table. And 9/11 is in the Constitution. Trump is in the Constitution. Harris, trade towers, Pope Leo. Yeah, no kidding. It's all encrypted, but it's in these documents. Yes, we are one. Marley, just do Bart at bartscharts.com. That'll work. Yes, all right, somebody's here. So Alan and I were texting, and he basically said X marks the spot. He took all the X's. This is actually the middle of the Constitution. By the way, folks, the Constitution has 6,771 characters in it. I know you're probably like, okay, that's not a big deal. That's 1776 backwards. Yeah, can't make this stuff up. But this FIN, Fin, is the exact center of the America codes. And so I don't know if this is prophetic, and Alan makes sure he says that. I don't know if this is prophetic or not, but this is the encryption. Obstructing Seattle by the mountain of Rainier, enlarging its boundaries capable of annihilation. The Cascadia subduction zone ravaged our coasts, burnt our towns, and the most barbarous high seas scarcely paralleled, complete the works of death. So, Cascadia subduction zone, Seattle, Mount Rainier. The 12-13-5 is divine perfection. This actually shows human imperfection. And so Alan lays that triangle over the codes. Boy, Wavy, just Google it at this point. I'll be honest. There's actually a great book. It'll blow your mind. Get this one. Wavy. Plato and the Quran. Plato and the Quran. Mind blower. So anyway, I don't know, but here's the thing. If something does happen, then we can see how amazingly powerful this document is. Now, just to get you thinking, you ready? The documents are signed in 1776. We didn't name Mount Rainier Seattle till like 50, 40 years later. So how is the Cascadia subduction zone encoded in the Constitution? I'm just going to leave you with that. So there's one thing I want to show you guys. Yeah, go for it, baby. Let's do this here. So take a look at these guys. It's a penny stock right now. It's called Versus AI. They just got uplisted on the NASDAQ. And what's important about them is they're truly agentic thinking AI. And start learning about the spatial web. They essentially are the standard for the spatial web. But more importantly, ChatGPT and DeepSeek were given an algorithm. They're given 100 attempts and 20 minutes to figure out that algorithm. Oh, by the way, 300 of the world's greatest mathematicians were given the same algorithm to figure out the pattern recognition of it. None of them could. Genius and DeepSeek basically were about the same. They figured it out 43% of the time. Genius, the Versus AI. And oh, by the way, they're saying AI day one was Thursday. So these large language models that everybody's been working with, they're crazy. You know what, Wavy? I'm just saying that it seems extremely coincidental that there's a significant amount of information in these documents that has happened. And now there's been an encryption that there might be something that could happen in the Pacific Northwest. That's all. I don't know. I really don't. But just trying, why am I doing this? Well, JC's given me a platform to help people wake up, quite frankly. And so I'm just bringing stuff that no one could ever even imagine thinking about. And so how in the world could our founding documents have that information? I don't know. And I truly hope nothing happens. I have no idea. But you can't deny that that's where it is. So that's what's going on, Wavy. And that's a great question. Wavy's basically saying, are you sure? So you're saying there's going to be a tsunami? No, I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying that pretty crazy that all that was encrypted in our Constitution. It might happen. It might not. I don't know. But it did say it ends the cycle of death. So that's a good thing, I guess. Anyway, But back to Genius. Genius did it 100% of the time, folks. And orders of magnitude, like 400% quicker. And then they took a look at the cost and the energy output, and it's something like 300 or 400% cheaper, and from an energy perspective. So we think these AIs, these large language models, even though they're hallucinating and everything, are kind of crazy. Folks, I'm telling you, really take a look at Versus. I have not gone long them yet, but it's like PCIL. I grabbed 1,000 shares. It was down at like a couple bucks for the psychedelic. There's nascent industries that are taking off. Okay, take a look at this, you guys. Oh no, by the way, I'm not paid or I'm not consulting for them or anything. I'm just really looking at this whole AI. It's a Gutenberg press moment, folks. I tell people needed to find new jobs cleaning up the shit behind the horses when the Model T showed up in the 1920s. That's just the way it is. This right here, it's mind-blowing stuff that's going on. So keep an eye on that. So anyway, went a little long, but I love being here with you guys. Thanks for joining. I've done a couple recordings. It's just been summertime and hanging out. But yeah, we got to get out on the waves. So here we are. Okay. Got some questions. You guys want me to look at anything else? Wow, you're welcome. UNH. I had no idea, guys. I forgot. You're welcome. By the way, some of these names are great. Marley, Wavy McFly, Vol Seller. You guys are trippy, man. It should be on Amazon. I think that's where I got it. So ultimately, when and if, and there was a question about wave 3 in the Dow Jones super cycle. If we look from 1896 or 1886, I forgot which one, and we just start counting all this stuff. First off, just picture in your mind's eye 2000 to 2003 to 2007 to 2009. That was a flat correction. So that was A down, B up, C down. So 2007 to 2009 was C down. I believe that was a wave 4 of 3. So this move from 2009 all the way up to now, 16 years, I'm seeing as the 5th wave of a wave 3 super cycle. Okay. So that's what I'm looking at, which would be a massive correction, right? And it likes to go down to, again, guideline, not a rule, wave 4 of a lesser degree, which is what? That 2009 low. That top will be occurring, I think, now to the next year or two, right? I don't know when. It could be now, but I just don't think it is yet, because I just see like a couple more, let's do one more wave higher before we really call this thing a qual. I really want to see the Dow, the New York Stock Exchange Index. I haven't done it for the NASI. I want to see what happens. I want them to go up and tag those 1-by-1 trend lines. That's when we'll really know where we are. But for now, I'd be very cautious. Why? Because of that ratio. Remember the XLP NYA? We're in a time zone where that ratio should be bottoming. Anytime that ratio bottoms, equities go down. We just finished a massive buy yen, right? Sell US dollars versus the yen. Anytime the yens get stronger, what? Equities go down. We've had a massive move off the bottom of that. Remember that dollar yen versus the financials? I'm looking for the financials to top because I know nothing's going to go down until they do. They didn't hit the measured moves, but they sure look like they want to go down, right? So we're really close. And so I'm just seeing we're topping. Have we topped last week? We could have. I'm leaning that way. But, maybe one more goose, 2 or 3% higher. But folks, tighten the stops. Ask yourself, how much am I willing to lose? And we'll get back in it. So that's it. All right, you guys. I'm going to call it a qual. If you want me to, so I'm posting on Stock Market TV. I'm trying to keep up and post it on Barts Charts too. But my shit's free now, guys. So if you want to go and you got an email, a question, I get a couple a week. I always try it. Wavy will tell you. I always get back to you. But Bart at bartscharts.com. I'd love to hear from you. And some of these tickers that you're looking at, I'll go over. Okay. But I'm going to call it a qual. You guys be great. Have a great week. And yeah, let's be cautious right now. I think we might have topped, and it could be a good one until the end of the year, maybe. But I think we'll really know where we're at next week. Okay. That's all she wrote. Thanks, you guys. Have a great one.